Yo, we got starter decks for Kickstarter. We're gonna open this bad boy up. Trifernal Fire Elestrals Starter Deck. Let's do it. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Dan or aDrive here, the creator of Elestrals, bringing you guys some unboxings and openings of the Elestrals Founders Edition from Kickstarter. I've uploaded a few different videos at this point of like blister packs and booster boxes, and I'm gonna do each of the starter decks in their own video to talk about the deck, what you're gonna get with it, and kind of the cards and how it'll play. Just give you a little bit of backstory on it and have some fun taking a look at the product a little bit earlier. If you want to see the full update video on when everything's coming, I'll have that in the description below. Otherwise, like the video and let me know what your favorite card is in the Fire Starter Deck, and let's dive in. Alright, so here it is in all its glory, the Trifernal Starter Deck. Of course, all my fire casters out there, if you're pumped up, this is where to go. And if you guys didn't know, we actually do have t-shirts for each of the elements. You can get the fire caster shirt at our merch store in the description below. Very, very hyped though, and I'm excited to open it up, so I will give you guys the full breakdown. Alright, so you see we took a lot of care in working on these. We've got the little set icons all around the boxes. Much like our booster box, these are printed inside as well, which is really hype. And we've got these different little void seals on them, so you'll know if it was opened. One comment that I have is this was a pretty poorly placed void seal. We'll fix that for first edition. They kind of just covered the starter deck label, but again, these are lessons that we learn as we go. But otherwise, really good kind of feeling deck box, really well constructed, and you can just kind of pop these void seals off here, and you'll see it'll say void underneath. So a little safety mechanism in place for these starter decks, which are always cool. As part of these starter decks, I would sleeve them in my different sleeves here. We've got the Volcanic Forge and the Vipyro sleeves, which look great. I've been using these sleeves now for a few weeks for my Elestrals cards, and I've been really proud of the quality. I feel like they came out really well. Alright, so let's pop it open. You're gonna see when you open it up, you've got the nice Elestrals logo right on the inside of the box. Again, taking that extra care. We have custom D20 dice in each of the starter decks. This was actually like a little upgrade that we got, and I didn't even tell anyone until after the Kickstarter, but I was able to get each die to be specific to the deck, which was a task in itself. For those who don't know, dice manufacturing is not as easy as you would think, and they're a little bit more expensive than I would have thought for this little guy, but they're beautiful. I'm really happy with how they came out, and I think, again, I wanted to go the little bit extra anytime I could to make this even more awesome. Our how to play guide comes with the decks as well. I think this came out beautifully. It's a really, really handy guide. I went with like kind of the higher quality art paper, so that way it would feel good. It'd have a nice glossy feel to it. Really proud of how these came out. The how to play guide is a really nice resource for you as you learn to play Elestrals. So definitely read it, or just watch a bunch of gameplay videos and you'll probably be all right. Now, for those of you who don't know, these starter decks actually are gonna come with the holographic, of course, Trifernal, but there is a very, very tiny, teeny tiny chance that under the Trifernal, in this case, could be a stellar Nekruff. And that Nekruff will be 1 in 99. So only 99 Fire Trifernal starter decks will actually have that Nekruff. It is going to be a card for the ages. So if you're interested in snagging one of those, well, good luck on your starter deck opening. And one thing you'll notice on the back is we have a little cheat sheet card. So I'll take all this out and I'll show you guys what that looks like. So after you get the shrink wrap off, you will see you've got this little guy here. I decided to add this into every starter deck. It's a little cheat sheet that kind of explains the game. So it kind of talks about, okay, these are the different phases, the main phase, how you cast an Elestral, how you ascend an Elestral, you know, how you declare battle, how you calculate battle, and then a little kind of guide on what the different types of runes are. So, you know, like the symbols, you know, invoke, counter, etc. So this will come with everybody's deck. So if you get one of these, you can kind of keep it off to the side while you play as like an easy reference for while you're learning the game. And now we can kind of take a look at the deck here. So Trifernal, obviously the cornerstone of the deck. This thing gets cast out pretty easily from Blazerous effect, and it's one of the strongest attacks in the game at 14 attack. Its real bread and butter is it pretty much kind of negates your opponent from being able to cast Elestrals to the field. And while a lot of times currently in the metagame, kind of cards like Trifernal aren't as relevant, I think there is an opportunity in the future for this card to be really strong just based on its casting conditions alone. I am not going to be the lucky one to pull a Stellar, so we are not going to get a Stellar Nekruff here, but that's okay. So Nekruff is one of the best cards in the game right now. It functions as a 5 attack, 1 drop, and it forces your opponent to expend if you deal damage. So a really good starting point there. That's going to come with 3. Then you've got Blazerous. Blazerous can attack twice in the battle phase, but if you destroy 2 things from that, you can actually go to Trifernal, and that could be a win condition on its own, because you destroy 2 things, and then Trifernal comes out in the same kind of battle phase, and then Trifernal can attack as well. So if you have back row control, that can be very strong. You've got Warmite, which is going to drop the attack of your opponent's Elestrals, and Fluoracne is going to lock them down from the fire side. So if they're not a fire enchanted, this thing can hold down the field and give you that opportunity to kind of build up your board and your resources. Hummbust is a starter deck exclusive card. It's not exactly the most synergistic with this deck. Fire does a couple different things like direct damage and mill and stuff like that with Cinder. So there is a win condition with that. Generally speaking, Hummbust is going to be kind of the cornerstone of mill decks moving forward, or one of the cornerstones, but right now mill is very much so average. I'm actually a mill player, as toxic as that strategy can sometimes be. I really enjoy it personally. It's a fun way to play the game for you, not the opponent. So, you know, I might be a little toxic there, but you're gonna get 2 of those Humbusts. Kinleo, this is a, you know, probably an A tier card. Just Nexusing alone, especially in Fire, which has an abundance of Nexus targets, Hammer of Hephaestus, and Hephaestus himself, which searches out that hammer. Kinleo can easily pop opposing Elestrals very efficiently. This was a card that used to have 4 attack. We nerfed it to 3, and rightfully so. It's very strong. Volcaries can pair with Nekruff to be just a really strong beater, getting more attack based on the enchanting fire on the field. So if you have Volcaries out with just 1 fire on it, it already has 4 attack. Let's say you play Hephaestus with 3 fire spirits, it now gets to 7 attack, and that's a 2-card combo, and you have a 7 attack 1-drop Elestral. It is very strong. Cinder, much like Hummbust, functions with mill, so your opponent's gonna mill. And then we've got a little bit of a supporting cast here, Smoltuga, a water Elestral that actually searches out fire Elestrals. So if you want to grab your Nekruff or something like that, you can use your Smoltuga to do that, and a really good 5 defense stat there. Veritaqua allows you to pick off those defense position Elestrals without any problem, which is very nice. And then kind of going with a little bit of some of the themes here, you've got Spy Nymph to slow your opponent down and you know, kind of drop their attack stat a little bit, which can be useful to kind of set up for Blazerus later. Nectar of the Gods, of course, a very good staple card to draw, and Ambrosia, you've got a couple of those into Circle the Sky. I really tried to make it so the starter decks had some of the better cards in them. You can see the rarity icon, these are both rares. Circle the Sky, also a rare. Ambrosia allows you to recover. Nectar of the Gods, what does it do? You guys let me know. And again, I stack these decks with rares. Hephaestus is a rare. This allows you to essentially stack spirits onto your field and then Nexus cards around. Or I'm sorry, search for artifacts, but ultimately Nexus. You've got the Volcanic Forge here, which is going to be your stadium. That allows you to give all your Fire Elestrals an attack and defense buff, which is very nice. And then the Hammer of Hephaestus is going to be your artifact rune for the deck. Very easily searched out by Hephaestus itself. And when Hephaestus is enchanted as well as Hammer, you can't actually be targeted by opponent's Elestrals effects. So things like Boombat can't target you. So Sorlet can't target you. It can be really strong. And Hammer plus Hephaestus on the field gives you +2 attack already. And then if you throw the Volcanic Forge, you get +3. And it can really rack up, especially with things like Volcaries. Eruption is kind of the rune for fire. It deals 3 direct damage, costing you 2. If they have fire, it's not as good, but you can deal some real good direct damage. This plus Nekruff proves to be, you know, quite an effective strategy. Earthquake is going to allow you to remove an Elestral with some of those Earth Spirits. And then probably the most controversial / one of the best cards in the game, Gorgon's Gaze. This is a starter deck exclusive as well, much like Hummbust. And this is one of the kind of S tier cards, I think. A lot of players are playing it right now. It's picking up in usage in our testing because it can do a lot of different things. I'll have a pretty big update about all of this, but this card we had to make some interesting rulings on, but it's a very strong card that can shut down from attacks. It can shut down from a lot of different things. It can shut off abilities. It's for a limited duration. It doesn't necessarily remove the Elestral that you're targeting, but it can stop them from that turn, and it allows you to kind of get the momentum that you need. Tsunami is one of the staple counter runes right now. Non-water Elestrals have to go to defense position, so it kind of serves as a really good way to deal with combat. And then you've got your spirit deck. So you have 20 spirits, the Vipyros, of course, into Leviathans, and then you've got a couple Teratlus here to play those Spy Nymphs and your Earthquake. And that'll make out your spirit deck. So the key to this deck is really about kind of going pretty hardcore aggro. You really want to just chip away as much as you can with those eruptions. You want to get your Nekruff and kind of fill your board up with your Volcaries. You've got your Kinleos to do some Elestral removal. You've got your Warmites to help you pick off some of the big things. And then ultimately, if you can get that Blazerus out and get it to take out 2 Elestrals at once, Trifernal's going to hit the board, and you should put yourself in a very advantageous position to walk away with a victory in Elestrals. This is your fire deck breakdown. Let me know which one you want to see next, and let me know what your favorite card is in the fire starter decks. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see you guys soon.